I don't know. But my foot, I can't feel it.
Well, you can like shift around when we're like, we can stop and be like, okay, this is a good stopping point.
Woo! We've loved traveling with you through the West. Today, we're adding a stop to our Heading West series so we can share our full itinerary with you. If you've been following along, you already know we've explored the wide landscapes of Theodore Roosevelt, the dramatic caldera of Yellowstone, the historic beauty of Grand Teton, Glacier's majesty and iconic road, the rugged beauty of the North Cascades, diverse views of Olympic, Rainier's towering peaks, Crater Lake's clear, deep blue water, and the Redwoods' ancient giants. We've explored our way down the Pacific coast to Monterey, California, and we're only halfway through. If you've just found us, we're so glad you're here. You can find all of those videos and more on our Heading West playlist. Today we're sharing the rest of our Heading West itinerary, and we're so excited for you to see what's still on the horizon. The upcoming sites are every bit as stunning as the ones you've already been exploring with us. So be sure to hit subscribe and ring the bell so you can join us on future adventures.
Hey there, and welcome to the Rohn and Debra channel. We are so glad to have you here. As you can see, these are the future Gibsons. So I hope you've enjoyed the last several episodes of our Heading West series. We thought it would be good, now that we've had several videos out, to do like the official kickoff of the Heading West series. We really haven't shared what our route's gonna be, what all we're gonna do. So we thought, you know what? Let's just pause and do that. And also, we have a lot of new people here. So it's been mind-blowing to see how many people have watched our videos, subscribed to our channels, joined our online community. So we thought it would be good to say, thanks for joining us. We're the
Welcome.
Gibsons. We live in Northwest Iowa. We have 3 daughters. And when we're not here in Northwest Iowa, we're traveling throughout America, visiting national parks and other points of interest and having an absolute blast. So we are in the middle of publishing the Heading West series, and we just wanted to do a couple things. Number one, we wanted to share all the different places that we're going to be visiting. So we've got some notes here. So if you see us looking down, we've got a lot to cover in this episode.
Stay on track.
Yes, we've got a lot to cover. So put your seatbelt on, because the Heading West series covers 108 nights, 38 stops, and 6,886 miles across the Northwest, kind of heading down to the Southwest a little bit. So we're super pumped to have you here. And you may be saying, you know, my family's never going to do 100 nights in an RV together going that far. So what we're going to do at the end, we're going to share the entire route that we did for our Heading West series. But we are also going to share 3 different options based on all the national parks and places we went. Here's 3 options that if you just want to go visit a couple of some of our favorite national parks, here are some 7 to 10 day trip plans that you can use as you start planning. We know there's a lot of families who are planning right now. Obviously, we're in the fall and we're getting ready to enter the holidays, and a lot of people start thinking about, okay, what do we want to do next year? We were actually just down in Atlanta not too long ago, and there was a family who was doing just that, and they were asking us questions about visiting Olympic. So we're going to kind of put together different trip options that you can use. So let's start off. Obviously, when you're planning a trip, it's super important to have the right tools. So what are some of the tools that we used for the Heading West series to make sure that we didn't go under bridges that were too short or stop on a dead-end road? Because newsflash, when you're towing a Jeep, you can't back up without unhooking the whole thing. So you got to make sure you have the right tools. So what were some of our top tools?
So let's talk tools, because when you get into planning a larger trip, it's just like there's a couple of hacks. And if you have the right tools, then you have the right hack. So our favorite one that we like to use is RV Life, which is very common in the RV community, but you put in the specs of your RV. So our coach is 45 feet long, 12 feet, 8 inches tall, and 8 feet wide. What it does is then it takes into consideration as you track your route and start saying, like, I want to get from this park to this park, and it will tell you which roads you can take. And one of the big ones where we ran into that was Zion. and it would have been like a 1 hour drive to Zion. But with our bigness, I don't know, with it just like
yes, the size of
with
the
the
coach,
size of our coach,
we got to take the scenic route.
It was like a 3 hour drive, and we would rather have that than be stuck.
Yes.
And have to like back up a bunch of traffic and unhook and do all that. So RV Life just takes all of that into consideration. Also, it has a bunch of campsites already put in. There's a lot of reviews. It tells what's in the campsite if you need bathrooms because your RV doesn't have all of that, or you're just tent camping, or it just gives so much information that we consider it pretty invaluable. And then it rates the parks, and we have our own way of like, we don't stay at a park that's above or below this, or so that is our big one. And as soon as we know like parts of the country, we just start sticking in the big parks, and then we start looking for campgrounds to connect us. So that's a big one. Campendium is also one that we like to use. It does have sometimes like more city parks than what RV Life will have in it.
And if you need like dump stations or things like
water. That. It also, I would use it a lot for finding rest areas sometimes. So that's a good one. Google Maps is
a great resource.
Just a great resource for, you can review parks on there. So you have like, just look at all the different reviews if you just want a real full idea of what kind of park is this and what do they offer.
One of the things I would do every night before a travel day is look for fuel stops. So we would look at the RV Life for the route because it's taking into consideration the size of the coach and all those factors. So you make sure that the Google map has the right route, and you may have to drop pins along the way to kind of mold the route. For us, we love loves. So we're going, a 45-foot coach diesel pusher. You're going to be going through the truck lanes. Also amazing. Absolutely love it. So I'm going to look for a loves or for something that's in the open roads network. So not to get into open roads, but it's basically discounted fuel, can literally save you thousands of dollars on fuel. Check out open roads if you're interested in that. That's all I'll say for now. But I use that every night to basically say, okay, here's what RV Life says our route is. But here's where we're actually going to stop next to fill up fuel before we hit the next place.
Yeah.
Because that could be super important with our coach. It has a aqua-hot system for heating our water as well as heat in the coach in general. And it's pulling from the diesel tank. Or if we're harvest hosting or dry camping, you're going to use the generator, and that's also pulling from the diesel tank. So you always want to make sure you have plenty of fuel when you pull into a place to camp for the night. So,
and the other thing we do with Google Maps is because you can see everything. Like if you just zoom in, you can see exactly where you enter, how much room, where to exit, what it looks like if you're close to things. It's just like having a bird's eye view. Like you can actually go and look at it before you get there and put yourself right into the situation that you might not want to be in.
So we could have a whole episode just on the tools we use. If you're interested in that, go ahead, say I'm interested in that episode. Put that in the comments. Last thing I'll say on Google Maps in general is, and I forget where we heard this tip from, but know how many parking spaces long your coach is.
Yeah.
So then when you zoom in on Google Maps, you can actually know, can I fit into that space based on? So we did that on this trip actually, because we wanted to go to a Costco, and taking a 45-foot coach, towing a Jeep into a Costco could be an adventure. But because we knew how long we were, we could actually look at that and say, oh yeah, we'll be able to fit in there. There's this parking right behind it that doesn't look like people use very often.
Count out the spaces.
Yeah, count out the spaces and know we're good. So Google Maps can be a great resource, as well as the reviews there too.
Then last one I'll mention is harvest hosting. And harvest hosting is a lot of fun because it's businesses that are looking to get more business, but breweries, wineries, farms, churches that have a lot of unused space for most of a week. You can come in and you can overnight in these places, and then you just either make a small donation, usually $30, or if it's a farm store or a winery or something, then you just would go into the gift shop,
purchase something.
find something. Sometimes it's restaurants.
Yeah.
We've bought meals there before, but it's the fun part is it can be at fun places. So you're have this great view. Like we had a church parking lot that was total field on one side of the parking lot. Just open. It was just really pretty. That was in Colorado on our way back. But harvest hosting is nice. And that's something that you buy a subscription to, but it is so low cost for what you would pay per night to fill that night, that it's very worth it to us.
Yeah, and some of the best places we have slept has been in people's parking lots.
Yeah.
It's just, it's incredible. And it's kind of the weirdest feeling to be taking a shower standing in somebody's parking lot right now. It's awesome. So anyway, Harvest Hosts, definitely check it out. From our perspective, depending on how you like to camp, totally worth the subscription. So
it's a lot of fun.
These are all the tools you can use, but ultimately you need to architect a great trip. And there's a lot of things you need to consider as you look at pulling a trip together. So we're going to head out to the coach, and then we're going to talk to you about what are the things you need to think about to make a great trip.
All right. Here we go.
Let's do it. All right. Welcome to the coach. We have made a lot of memories in this coach. It's pretty crazy. So when you are planning your trip, we've talked about tools that you can use along the way, but it's also, I think, actually more important that when you plan a trip that you define what does success look like for this trip. So for us, when we planned out the Heading West series, it was important for us to be able to cover more ground and see more places. So what that means then, the trade-off of that, because every decision you make, it's got some trade-off of some sort. So because we wanted to cover more ground, that meant that we weren't going to be able to spend as much time in each place to thoroughly see everything. Some of these parks, you could literally spend 2 weeks plus if you wanted to do all the hikes.
All the hikes.
And see all the things. They're just, number one, they're gigantic. And they're some of the most beautiful places. You'll see some of the most beautiful things your eyes have ever seen at some of these national parks. That's why they're national parks. They're absolutely incredible. So you just have to decide which thing do you want to do. So is it, I want to cover more ground, so I'm kind of getting like the buffet. So I'm not eating anything too much of it, but I'm getting to see a lot of things. So kind of like an appetizer. Or do you want to slow down and see parks super deeply? Or is it not about either of those options, but about people that you want to meet or meet up with along the route? So as you plan your trip, you really need to ask yourself one of the most important questions really with almost anything in life. What does success look like for this trip? And then define how you plan that out. So as we were looking at it, number one, we use RV Life. RV Life is indispensable, like Deborah was talking about earlier. So when you are planning a trip, one of the first things you want to do is really plan the big rocks. So for us, with Heading West, it was national parks. We wanted to hit as many national parks during that trip as we could. So we looked at the map and said, okay, which parks do we want to go to? Which one and which order do we want to visit? Which ones make sense?
And how many days?
Yes. So put in the big rocks first based on how many days you can go. And then specifically with RVs, you have to know how far you can drive on a travel day. So we were planning on putting this in there, but I think it's super relevant. When you plan a trip, depending on whether you're on vacation, or for us, a lot of people would ask us, oh, did you guys enjoy your vacation? We're like, that's the farthest thing from a vacation. It's a trip. So a trip for us includes things like travel days, things like adventure days where you're actually going out and going into the park. Then there's school/work days because, just because
it's life.
Yeah, you're traveling, you're doing life on the road. So yes, I still work while we travel. Deborah still does school with the girls. So all those things. And then, you're doing life. So you're cooking meals and you're doing a bunch of extra things because you're in an RV life, like managing black tanks and gray tanks and how's the water pressure.
Things break. You have to
RV life.
Have a little space.
Yes.
And I'll just be real honest. We didn't know about that our very first trip. You're going to have to make space for this. We were like, oh, you just go and you enjoy other things and just not really realizing the fullness of RV life, living in an RV, traveling many different places. So that's what made us understand, okay, we need a travel day and we need certain adventure days, and helped us break up the trip better that way.
Yes. And the fourth kind of days, super important, rest days. Days where you're not working, you're not adventuring, you're not traveling.
We've just learned, and we're going to share that with you because we don't want you to make the same mistake.
Yes. So 4 types of days. If you're traveling with your family for a long duration trip like what we did, number 1 is travel days. Number 2 is adventure days. Number 3 is work/school days. And number 4, rest days. So super important. All right. So when you are traveling, know what your distance is. For us, when you're traveling in a 45-foot coach, 450 miles would be about the max mileage you would want to cover in a day. Now, there's many types of drives. So 450 miles would be like those Nebraska, Iowa, like flat highways driving across Ohio.
Interstate all the way.
Amazing. If you are out in the mountains, you don't want to get anywhere close to 450 miles.
On a state road, like not even on a freeway, on a state road.
Yes.
You want a lot less miles.
Yes.
Because it will still take you many hours.
Absolutely. And as the driver, it's very, it's amazing. The things we have seen through our front windshield are absolutely amazing. But there were days it was exhausting.
Tiring.
So when you're literally driving from Cody, Wyoming to West Yellowstone, driving through Yellowstone, but you're like trying to dodge granite mountains off to the side that almost come all the way up to the yellow line, like that can get pretty tiring after a while. So it's amazing. Like I'm not complaining one bit. We are, beyond blessed.
When you're in an RV, when you're towing, when you're mobile homing.
Mobile homing? I think you just made up a word.
You're not in your minivan and it doesn't drive the same. And
yes.
You just have to make considerations for that.
And there are days we wish we had the minivan.
Yeah.
But Smokey, our coach, she's absolutely amazing. So we've covered a lot of ground already, but what we really want to get into is the route. So heading west, this was the first time we have ever done anything like this as a family. And again, this is post-trip. So again, we have come back from the trip. And so a lot of the video that you're going to see, even now moving forward, we've released some episodes, but we're going to show some video as we talk about the route that are episodes that are to come. So if you've gotten any value from this video, hit the like button. If you want to see those future videos that we're going to release, and there's some pretty epic ones, hit that subscribe button, and we look forward to having you guys journey with us. And if you haven't, search for Rohn and Debra, ROHN and Debra on Facebook, and come join our online community. We'd love to have you there. So let's talk about the route. 108 nights, 38 stops, and 6,886 miles is actually on the very, very conservative side. That's what we put on the coach.
Right.
That doesn't even include Jeep miles. And there were some times where we were driving
a couple hours.
Yeah, to get to the national park because of this is as close as we could get. So, and some of these parks are huge and you just want to drive through them. So I would easily add another 3,000 miles, if not more, to that mileage. So let's walk through it.
Yeah. So by this point, we've already traveled quite extensively, and then we're going to tell you where we've been and where we're going. And so many of you have been following with us and traveling with us through video. And so hang on for that. But then we're going to talk about where we're going. So we started up in Medora, North Dakota, to visit Theodore Roosevelt National Park. From there, I'm going to give you the town we stayed in and kind of based out of to get to the national park. And bear in mind, if you have a smaller towable than a 45-foot, or if you even have a 30-foot RV, this is different maybe of how close you can get, because campgrounds have restrictions on how big you can be to get into their park.
So stay tuned on that, because we are actually going to do a tour of ours and do a kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, review of all the things you want to think about when you do select the coach. We knew what we were getting into.
We also had three grown-ish girls.
Yes, who had never done camping. And a wife who camping was prior.
Super 8,
You're still experienced now.
I know.
Super 8. More like Holiday Inn Express.
Oh.
That was
That's probably true.
So anyway, you did awesome though.
Yes,
it's been so much fun.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So let's dive in.
So I just wanted to tell you the town and then where we went from there. So Medora, North Dakota was to Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Cody, Wyoming was the east side of Yellowstone National Park. Then over to West Yellowstone, Montana for the west side of Yellowstone Park. And Yellowstone is so big, it needed two sides to be addressed.
Yeah, and to get the full Yellowstone experience, I would just encourage you to plan visiting both sides.
Yes.
Because the one side is like the Disney of national parks because you have all of this, the unique
fumaroles.
Yes. Hot spring. I mean, just
it's crazy.
Amazing. And then the other side is more of the valleys where you're going to see more of the wildlife and the buffalo and maybe a wolf. It's just absolutely incredible. So definitely, if you only go to the one side, you're not seeing all of Yellowstone. And
it's just
my favorite part's
big.
Actually the east side of Yellowstone.
It's just so big.
Yes.
We stayed actually in Grand Teton National Park. So the town would be Grand Teton, but we stayed in Coulter Bay. And that was really fun to be in a national park. It's actually rare for us to be able to do that. We went to St. Mary, Montana for the east side of Glacier National Park. And then we went over to West Glacier, Montana for the west side of Glacier National Park. Would also recommend you give adequate allotment of days to that just because it is large. There's just so much to do and everything's spread out. So,
and if you haven't checked out that video, all of those videos have been released
these
so
are ones
far.
We've done already, yeah.
And Glacier actually is our top video as far as views, number of views. So if you're interested in Glacier, definitely go check that out. It was interesting. It was an interesting visit. Definitely an adventure. Hail.
There's a lot.
And windows leaking.
And it's still one of our favorite national parks.
Absolutely.
And
top
now we've
3
been
for
to
sure.
20, 30 something. We've been to a lot now, and it still ranks pretty highly.
It is. It is absolutely.
So
not my favorite, but top 3.
It ranks pretty highly.
Yes.
From Glacier, we headed across into Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, just for like a rest.
Yeah. Actually, it was. We kind of framed it up as this was the official beginning of the girls starting their school year. So that was the whole point. Was just give ourselves a place to let's get all the curriculum out. Talk through it with the girls. You try to get the buy-in on the homeschool side. By the way, if you're interested in some homeschool content, stay tuned. More is coming. Excited about that. But that was kind of what that was like jumpstart the homeschool year.
And Coeur d'Alene's a beautiful place. So it's kind of like as you're traveling through, you don't want to only be so front sight focused that you only hit national parks because there's just so much beauty all over this nation. So that was helpful to stop in Coeur d'Alene. Then we went up to Winthrop, Washington, and went through North Cascades National Park. And we that was like a good long day. That was a lovely park. Mm-hmm. Then we went south, stayed in Gig Harbor, Washington, and stayed there for about a week and did some Seattle, some Mount Rainier, and showed our kids what an actual traffic full city. Around here, we live in Northwest Iowa. Oh, there's traffic. And we just laugh because we're like, that's not traffic.
Yes.
Seattle.
One of our daughters who thought she was more geared for city life decided not so much after the visit to Seattle, Tacoma. I was like, I don't think so.
But it was fun.
It was. It
was really enjoyable.
And definitely that's one of the parks we want to go back to. Rainier, definitely one of the places we want to go back to after a visit.
You need good time on that one.
Yes.
Then we were still in Washington and went to Sequim, Washington, to hit Olympic National Park, and that's the inland side. We hit the inland side, and then we headed over to Forks, Washington, and hit the coastal side of Olympic.
And if you look at it and you pronounce it Sequim, there's a reason. That's actually how it's spelled.
You would be wrong.
Squim. Yes, you would be wrong. It's Squim.
We've learned.
Yes.
So Sequim, Forks, we went to Astoria, Oregon, which is right over the Washington border into Oregon. And then we actually went back into Washington to visit Cape Disappointment. So beautiful. Mm-hmm. And we also did Fort Clatsop, which is in Oregon, which is the very last point and fort that Lewis and Clark made it to all the way to the Pacific Ocean. And we live in Lewis and Clark country of, where Charlie, Floyd, died of appendicitis and he's buried here. And so it was like this cool historical following of them in their journey of like, and then they made it.
And we got like a private tour. Like there was a ranger there. We were right at the end of the day.
It was fantastic.
Kate got to fold the flag of the fort with the ranger. It was really sweet.
So that was in Astoria, Oregon. From there, we went to Bend and hung out for a week. Bend was a lot of fun. It was, again, like these little more restful, like there was nothing that had to be visited, but we did things, but didn't feel pressured, right? To like, oh, well, we're here, so we should go do it. From there, we went to Prospect, Oregon to visit Crater Lake National Park. And that is just a phenomenal park, but you have to want to go there to go there.
That is very true. But it's a sleeper national park because it is amazing. Just the hike, that's probably one of the, I would put it in the top 20 of all the hikes we've done. We've done some incredible hikes, like just hiking along Crater Lake. Kate actually fell in. If you haven't seen that episode, go check out our Crater Lake episode. But that's a really neat, and one that you can drive if you're not super mobile. It's one that you can drive around Crater Lake, super easy, get out at some of these just gorgeous overlooks. So anyway, I feel like we could just do like a national park review of each one of these, even outside of the video.
Like a behind the scenes, but that one you kind of feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. So we stayed in Prospect is what I wanted to.
Which is the middle of nowhere.
But we had hookups.
No shade. We had hookups. We had full hookups. Yeah, full hookups. Great site. So
from there, we headed down to Oric, California, and did Redwoods National Park. And again, Redwoods is not super easy to get to. And
the closest we came to hitting a tree was on the way in there.
That state road, whatever it is. And the trees
beautiful.
Are just grown into the side of the road. Like they didn't want to cut down the trees, which I understand. Yes. But whoa, they're close to the edge of the road.
Yeah, you feel like you're driving through a fairy tale there. You feel like the miniature. Like the trees are just gigantic. Even in a coach like this, you feel like you're a micro machine driving through these places.
The fairy gardens that were so big.
Yes.
You feel like you're inside the fairy garden.
Yes. Yeah, that was super sweet. And the campground we stayed at, it was no frills.
No frills.
But probably one of my absolute favorite. If you haven't seen our Redwoods video, man, go check that out. Woke up one morning, Deborah put up the nightshade, and there were elk.
Just elk.
Right outside. It was amazing. Great. And I would say top 3 hikes of all time.
I mean,
it may even be number 1, honestly.
Fern Canyon.
Yeah, that was, I don't like to use the word magical a lot, but oh my goodness. It might have been. That was absolutely incredible. We were in
Jurassic World at that moment.
Incredible. And in Star Wars. It was all of it.
All the things.
Yes.
Okay, so that was in Oric, California. And there are parks all over the place. And the Redwoods are so cool because there's no entrance station. You just go to the place. And it's, I don't know, I like that. It felt very like, oh, we're free to do
less
these
commercialized.
Things. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
From Redwoods, we went down to Petaluma, California to visit San Francisco. And we did not want to take the bus into San Francisco, even though we saw lots of buses in San Francisco. We stayed on the outskirts a little bit.
And we went and visited one of my favorite parks.
Well, not from there. But yes, we did. Then we went to Moss Landing, California.
That's right.
We did a lot in Moss Landing. We did Bixby Bridge, Monterey, Carmel by the Sea.
Apple Park
up in
Cupertino.
Okay, thank you.
Cupertino, not Cupertino, Cupertino.
So
almost had to hand in my Apple Card there for a second. Goodness.
That one we just based and went all different places, and it was and the seals were crazy.
Oh yeah, is that the closest we've stayed to the ocean?
I think so.
That was amazing. It was
a tiny park that was got us in, got us out. Yep.
Super sweet people managing it there.
So from there, that was as far south as we went on this trip. And then we start working inland towards Coarse Gold, which has Yosemite. So into Coarse Gold, California, visited Yosemite National Park. Then from there, went to Lemon Cove, California to visit both Sequoia National Park and Kings Canyon because They're just like little twins. They're so close to each other.
Best hot dog stand in America.
Yes.
Lemon Cove.
Lemon Cove.
If you haven't seen that video,
Park.
go check it out.
It's good. Then from there, we exited California and came into Nevada and stayed in Las Vegas and did Lake Mead and Hoover Dam. And Hoover Dam was cool. Was it Lake Mead?
It was.
Okay.
Yep. It was very cool. I was thinking, have we released the video with the coolest hot dog stand? I don't think we have yet. Stay tuned.
It's up next.
It's coming.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
It'll be fun.
I think I've said amazing. This trip was amazing. It really was. Yeah, almost every stop was just, so
like
sweet.
A new amount of like, whoa.
Whether the place was so majestic it felt like a fairy tale, or the people there were just, amazing, and just made the experience so sweet.
It did.
So
lots of new friends.
Yes.
From Las Vegas, we went to Flagstaff, Arizona, and visited Grand Canyon and Sedona, Grand Canyon National Park and Sedona. Then we went north to Page, Arizona, and did Horseshoe Bend, Antelope Canyon, and Lone Rock Beach. I had no idea these places were really there.
Yeah.
Like, you go and you're like, whoa, what? I did not realize. And I don't know. It's just, you're in your own part of the country, and you know your own part of the country, and you know other things. Like, I knew about Horseshoe Bend, but I did not know about Antelope Canyon.
Yes.
I didn't know. I didn't know about Lone Rock Beach.
You had probably seen pictures of it before.
Probably. Yeah.
I just didn't know
Apple.
That's where that was. Exactly.
That's right.
You just didn't know, like, oh,
that's what that is.
Yeah.
That's in America.
Yeah.
You can go see that.
Yeah. And have the best tour guide. He was awesome.
He was.
Yeah.
From Page, Arizona, we went into Utah. We stayed in Springdale, Utah, and went to Zion National Park. Then we just did the whole Utah 5. We went from Springdale with Zion to Bryce Canyon National Park and actually stayed in the park and visited that park. Then we went to Torrey, Utah, on the spine of a mountain. Highway 12.
Shout out to Highway 12.
And did Capitol Reef National Park. And then from there, we went to Moab. And from Moab, you can go to both Arches National Park and Canyonlands. So that was like a week and a half, I think we stayed there, almost 10 days, because we were doing those two places. And then Moab is its own experience.
It is.
So it's almost like doing 3 things. And that was the end of that whole tour. We had a couple more things planned, and weather became a thing to deal with.
Yes, winter came a little earlier than we thought in Colorado. We were planning on going up into Colorado Springs area. We have a friend there we wanted to go see, but the snow came early. We tried to wait it out, but just couldn't wait it out, and ended up deciding, okay, I guess God wants us to go home. So we headed home. But we hit all the major national parks we had planned, and man, what an amazing first trip.
Yes. So it was so good that we decided to do it again.
Yeah. And again. Yes. So, all right. So if you have any questions about any of those parks, let me just say, put in the comments. Like, we would be more than happy to answer any questions. We are putting all of our itineraries for the national parks that we visited on our website. So if you go to ronanddebra.com/plan, you can download all of that for free and get a lot more of the specifics. So you can go check that out. But like I said earlier, we know that a lot of families can't go on a 100+ day trip and all of those things. So maybe you're looking for a week-long trip or a 7 to 10 day trip. So we wanted to kind of group some of these parks in a way that would make it more palatable for the summer vacations. So number 1 on our list would actually be the one that we did. That was kind of like our introduction to national parks. And we definitely got bit by the bug, obviously. But that was the Tetons and Yellowstone. Just the proximity of those two, they're close to each other, and absolutely amazing. Again, like we said, Yellowstone, there's the east and the west side, and then Tetons. I mean, it just
and we were kind of like, oh, I didn't realize. Like, look at a map when you're looking at this, because we didn't realize Tetons were so close, and we're like, we'll just tack it on to the end. Little did we know it became one of our favorite places. Yeah. And if you're a true road warrior and have about 2 weeks, I would say bump up and go do Glacier. Like, if you are not afraid of driving and will put in some hours, because Glacier's not by anything. And you're probably close enough that you're like, well, if you have time, just go do it. It's gorgeous. You will not regret it.
Yeah. So Tetons in Yellowstone.
For sure.
Great trip. Go check out our itineraries. Then we'll say the Utah 5, but you're not going to cover all of the Utah 5 in a 7 to 10 day. I mean, you could,
maybe 2 weeks.
It would definitely be a very, very fast trip. So if you want to break them down, you could do Zion, Bryce, and Capitol Reef in one trip, 7 to 10 day trip, and really enjoy it. The second would be going to Arches and Canyonlands. So like one summer you could do one, the next summer or summer after you could do the other 2 and get all of the 5. But if you do Arches and Canyonlands, stay in Moab. Moab in and of itself is just this crazy cool experience. I mean, we went to this barbecue restaurant there, and now we actually eat something that we call Moab bowls.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it was so good.
It was so good.
It was so good. So if you stay in Moab, then you can go to Arches, go to Canyonlands. Yeah, absolutely beautiful there. So that's an easy way that you could do 2 different trips if you needed to break them up to go do the Mighty 5, they call it. Or if you can extend, do a 2-week trip, maybe even a little longer, and then that would give you like Zion. You want to spend some time there. Yeah. Canyonlands, I don't know why. That's one people don't talk about. But if you're an off-roader and you have a Jeep or a Tacoma or anything off-road, Bronco, I'm going back there. I'll just say that right now. After going there, that place was just...
There's a special place for you.
Yes, it is. It's it's unlike the other ones. And there might not be this big thing to see, but everything is just absolutely gorgeous around there. So definitely those would be kind of the way that we could break up the Utah 5 into 2 trips. Another one would be visiting Olympic and Rainier. I'll just say right now, Olympic, out of all the parks we've been to, out of 30-some national parks, Olympic National Park, my favorite national park. Especially the coastal side on the West Coast, going up Rialto Beach. I mean, and part of the reason as a dad, of it was my favorite, was actually seeing the girls get to go tide pooling and seeing all these different colors of starfish. It was absolutely amazing. So going to Olympic in Rainier would be a really, really good grouping. That'd be an amazing trip. So that's just a couple examples. And again, if you have questions, if maybe you're thinking about other parks, hey, would this be a good trip? Ultimately, go check out our itineraries. We give you those itineraries for all of these national parks that we visited. We don't put them in our national parks itinerary unless we've actually been there. But you can go check out all the ones that we've done, 30-some in there. Check them out, and then you can see. We'll give you like, here's how many days, and here's the things that you can do, and places you can stay, and even places you can eat. West Yellowstone.
Fire Hole Barbecue.
Absolutely incredible. One of the reasons it's incredible, number one, it tastes good. But number 2, the people. Like the people there were just incredible. Wish I could remember that guy's name, but he just made that whole experience absolutely incredible. Really sweet camera shop there if you're into photography. Really cool. They do. Anyway, I could go on and on and on. Much. Absolutely, just incredible trip. So definitely go check out our national park itineraries. And last, we just want to say a massive thank you to our sponsors. So as you guys know, we homeschool. We have high school kids, elementary, and our high schoolers. They've been so blessed by being able to take one class and get both high school and college credit. So thank you to Northwest Iowa Community College, who is sponsoring all of our Heading West series. They're just amazing friends of our family, and they've been a massive blessing. And our girls, like I said, they're able to take one class in high school, and not only are they getting the credit for it then, they're also getting college credit to get them ahead when they start their college career. So if you're interested in that, if you're a homeschooler, or if you even know somebody that homeschools that maybe they're not doing this, highly recommend Northwest Iowa Community College. You can go request free information from them at nccbound.com/homeschool. So again, big thank you to NCC for sponsoring the Heading West series.
So we just want to thank you for coming along with us, for supporting us, for just being on the journey with us. It's been so much fun to share this all with you, but also just getting to know all of you has been just delightful, actually, to just connect with more people. And so if you want to continue to follow along and see the parks that we haven't gone to yet, that we are going to be putting out You can like and subscribe so that you don't miss if something triggered in you and you're like, oh, I'd like to see that. Like and subscribe, and you'll be notified when that's available.
Awesome. So we covered a lot of ground. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Bye. But my foot, I can't feel it.
Well, you can like shift around when we can stop and be like, okay, this is a good stopping point.
Woo!